And I want that person to be named so that I can collect mine. Because now it is official.
But it's a bribe. Why would you want?
No, not a bribe. It's no longer a bribe now. If somebody went to wherever I took the money and used my name to get that money and is arrested, I'll go to court and demand for my share.
You go to court to demand a share of bribe?
Yes. I want that money back to me so that I can return it to central bank.
Where does it have to come through you? Just go to the
No, I want to be clean. You know, Sam, I'm so surprised by my brother and leader Mbui. If Mbui was aware, and he's my friend, we usually meet at the health club. If people were signing and given 100, why didn't you tell me to take that 100? Because personally, I signed and voted so that the former deputy president to be impeached because of one reason. One, he was dividing the country. Two, he was talking about shares. And the shares of this country were given to every individual who was born, who acquired.
But are you concerned that actually there's a possibility your colleagues received money to sign and eventually...
No, that's why the NADCO report is talking about limiting what is called corruption. That's why when these people were getting money, the anti-corruption was functional. Every other person was functional, but this money was still being taken. That's why I want Zani committee. That's why I want Zani committee.
Surely, Zani will not come to Parliament.
No. We you know, with the commissioners of IBC, we cannot have a plenary where we can give them our views.
The question I'm asking is, Mheshimiwa Dr. Masara, are you concerned that your colleagues might actually be taking money?
Not only my colleague, I'm concerned about corruption in Kenya.
No, please stop.
These MPs are Kenyans. We should not take MPs as outsiders. All of us as patriotic Kenya should be concerned about the level of corruption in this country. And I'm very happy.
So how do you cause change?
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
If you look candidly at the body language of the president yesterday, he's fed up with corruption. Somebody was talking of those who are dirty. My friend, when it comes to issue of faith, Jesus himself met a woman at a well. That woman was a prostitute. But because he confessed her sin, her name was written in the Bible. Somebody was yesterday a sinner. Today can be somebody clean.
A saint.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Anybody. But what my concern is where the corruption level has reached in Kenya. I'm happy that number one, the consumer of intelligent, raw intelligence is going to arrest people. I'm very happy, man.
But you know he can't.
No, he'll arrest.
He can't.
If yesterday he can't.
No power to arrest.
Let me tell you why I'm telling you he's going to arrest. If you look at William Ruto, the deputy president, was very popular with MPs. But if you were there yesterday, or you have been watching William Ruto of today and telling MPs, actually at a given point, actually you are very selective. There's a point where Raila and Ruto talked of even if they are going to carry the cross, even if it means one term, but they must change the face of this country. They gave us example of Singapore and Malaysia. It's not about they got money from heaven. It was about leadership. And at a given point, some leaders decided to change the path. We have been walking this path from 1960. Now, if the president has said this time around is going to arrest, the best we can do is to support him.
And after that...
And believe and give him benefit of doubt.
And after that, there was a joint communique.
A joint communique. Can we clear about is communicate part of corruption?
No, I'm asking
It's not. Let us, you have advised us, colleague.
You're describing it yourself.
Personally, I was there until the end, and even I took tea.
And lunch.
And there was a joint communique?
Yes.
By who?
By the people concerned. I was not part of it. If by naming members of parliament who are corrupt...
Dr. Peter Masara, how did the meeting end?
It ended like any other meeting.
Surely.
Yes.
How did it end?
It ended like any other meeting. Yes.
There was a Q&A session?
No, we decided not to do question and answer session because we are going to members of parliament. They said No, now we are going to our Kamkunji, because by that time, we were the host of Raila Odinga, the Prime Minister, and His Excellency, the President.
Were the host?
They were the host. So we were their guest. When you are in the setting of the host, and things turn the way it was, it's very difficult to ask questions, because maybe you are somebody amongst yourself are going to be arrested.
So you decided there was not going to be
Actually, nobody even instructed the members of parliament. Everybody said, let's go for Kamkunji. We built our questions in parliament. We are parliamentarian.
They walked away.
Yes.
Did you go? Dr. Masara, you know, I don't know how you, I don't know how you see reality, but so you're in that meeting, the hosts are Raila Odinga and President Ruto, but you decided there's not going to be a Q&A.
Yeah, but that's optional. Is it a must?
As the guests decided there's not going to be a Q&A.
Yeah, but, you know, they were expecting question from guests.
Yeah.
The guests decided they don't have question. Is that wrong?
And so what did they?
After that, we went for lunch. I took lunch, then came back to parliament.
So what did members of parliament do after that, after deciding there's not going to be Q&A?
We are going to have a Kamkunji to discuss the speech of the president.
And they stayed there?
Yes.
Sorry, and the members of parliament stayed there?
No, many stayed. Some were hurrying to their bed. It was late. It was also cold. It was raining. So very few people live in Karen.
Okay, Senator Sigei, what is your appreciation of facts yesterday?
Sam, allow me to just... Thank you, Sam. This is one of the documents that we were running through yesterday in the meeting.
How did the meeting end?
There were 3 agenda items.
Yeah.
You see, I am a lawyer, Sam.
I know what you're trying to do here.
And I'm not going to...
You blundered. Take it back to him.
I want to speak to Kenyans, including you, on what transpired. The meeting just didn't end. The meeting started. A conversation began on the approval of the agenda that was prepared for the day, including very serious issues that we discussed on the committee led by Dr. Zani, and also on the presentation by Professor Makau Mutua. Those were very important sessions, and above all, most importantly, the acknowledgement by the Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga on the historic progression that we have had as a country. Starting from him, he ran us through the history, gave us countries that have some.
Watched.
Please allow me
Senator
to do this.
Sigei,
They've asked me a
Senator
question.
Sigei,
I want to set a basis for how the meeting ended.
Just a moment. Let me.
Honorable Raila Odinga gave us.
Let me get the discussion.
Sessions.
Sorry,
and countries.
Senator Sigei, please just follow the discussion, because we need to make good use of the time that we have here. Now, what happened yesterday is that the events, the session that you attended was on live stream.
Yes.
We saw whatever you're describing.
So you don't want to listen to the rest of the good stories?
Let me set the question.
Okay.
So we saw Professor Kindiki make his speech, invite Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga came. He said all the things that he said, including NGCDF should not be in the hands of members of parliament. At some time he was heckled. He accused members of parliament of extortion. Then President Ruto came. He made his statement. He insisted that the senators become soko huru. Then he said, after this, I want to take a few questions. The stream went off. That's why I'm asking, how did the meeting end? He says there was no Q&A because members of parliament decided there's not going to be a Q&A. And then what happened? What was the mood? What was the mood like?
Allow me also then to say, to the best that I can, for those who are listening or who are interested in listening to this conversation and this debate. After the presentation by the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga on the history that I've told you, on the countries that have failed, on the need for us to be patriotic, on the need for us to come together as Kenyans and build this country for the better of the rest of us and for the future generations. President William Ruto came, echoed much of what Raila said in terms of why did we get where we are, including the fact that we have a big problem in this country called corruption.
Then you look at management of national debt. We started this conversation in earnest 2 years ago, but it has, by and large, died. Right now, we've, I think, mortgaged the sports fund, to build an overly expensive, stadium. If you look at the last point, which was about wastage, point number 9, which was about wastage of public resources. Just look at what is happening with all these empowerment forums going on. Money without accountability, just being dished left, right, and center. You don't need any, even a PP2 certificate to understand that this is stolen money. So sure. It is. You can actually see us moving.
PP2 certificate,
if there was one, because I believe our children, when they finish PP2, they get something to move to primary school. My point here is, we seem to be moving further and further away, even from the very principles that have been agreed in this 10-point agenda. Now, coming to your question, whereby we commit a crime, and now we purport to heal, the same crime. The thief suddenly becomes, the good person, and is now the one talking about the reparations of, the stolen goods. Yeah. You cannot have the Ministry of Interior, which is the one in charge of police, which is the one, who provides whether, it's commanded decisions or policy decisions. The police go out there. Yep. Children are protesting peacefully with handkerchiefs, water, and phones. That is all the weapons that they have. They are brutalized, killed. Hundreds of families are grieving. Some are maimed and in hospitals. And now, the same government purports to come and massage, the wood through, some bit of compensation. Like you have said, first of all, there has been no acknowledgement. There has been no, public apology. We cannot talk about compensation, unless first of all we acknowledge, unless number two, we say, what are we going to do to prevent such future, activities? So I find this whole compensation thing a little bit hypocritical. I find it even now worse that we are going ahead to gather evidence, do public participation. The people who died are known. What we should do is they should bring a legislation to Parliament if it doesn't exist in terms of the amount, because I believe there is a criteria that has to be used. I lost a leg, I lost an eye, I lost a life, right. And then there is a whole compensation structure. But I think this going around is further playing with the emotions of Kenyans.
So, if indeed there's corruption in Parliament, that there are welfare chairpersons who get resources for members of committees to pass certain motions or certain decisions, how does it manifest?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. First, let me just say that when we are doing these shows, I think Sigei should come alone. Because Senator Sigei will spend an hour making a point that he can make in actually a minute or two. Because he's taken us round in circles and taken away all our time.
To be here.
But then, on this matter, I think it's important to note that, yes, there has been, there are two ways by which members are coerced. One is through intimidation, and I do believe that there is definitely money that changes hands to influence decisions that are done on the floor of the House. And somehow say this, it's not a new phenomenon. It's always been there. It's been there from the time I was elected. I've seen that happen over the years. And I'll tell you, for you to know that this thing is real, you look at a situation where members of Parliament, someone is elected, and is elected as a member of Azimio political party, and within a week of the announcement of a new president, he's already going to State House, totally against the party that brought him to the House. Again, many times you see people voting in support of motions that their own constituents are totally against, like the finance bill of 2023. I mean, that was a time when we are grappling with the high cost of living, and Kenyans were out in the streets with sufurias on their heads. But then there were members who were very comfortable saying that we are passing this thing that was going to, deal a very deadly blow on the cost of living and on, disposable income of Kenyans. And the tax regime was actually going to mess us up, all of us. But despite the general public's, clear indication that they were not in support, members still voted in its support on the floor of the House. So basically, there are those that are coerced because they're intimidated, they'll be thrown out of committees, but there's also a change of, money changes hands. I said it's not a phenomenon that is unique to this parliament. I was in the 11th parliament from 2013 to 2017. And in that parliament, we actually, as members of parliament, disbanded the Budget and Appropriations Committee on allegations of, inappropriate action by the members of that committee. We also disbanded the Public Accounts Committee, then chaired by the Honorable Ababu Namwamba. Right. And it was on the same allegations that money, they were extorting money from witnesses that were coming, and people that had been named by the Auditor General. So basically, this phenomena has been there. Last Parliament, you remember the Honorable Fatuma Gedi talked about brown envelopes changing hands in the toilets. So it's not a unique phenomenon. It's something that's been around for a while. And the president was a deputy president all that period that I was in Parliament seeing this happening. Yep. I don't know why suddenly now he's seen the light, and suddenly he's saying Parliament is corrupt. Just recently, we had this impeachment motion against the former deputy president. And money did change hands. People were paid to sign.
How much was it?
100, 200,000.
For the signature?
Yes, for the signature. And those who voted were also given money. This is 100, 200,000. There are many members who actually got money. So the only thing is that they will not agree to it, but we know that they were given money.
Signature was 100 to 200,000.
Yes, actually, the signature was 100,000. But some members were clever. They signed at the majority leader's office and went to the minority leader's office and signed again, so they got twice. But all the same, what I'm saying is that actually money did change hands. Some of these things that we are pretending are real. And sometimes, like Honorable Senator Sigei said, let's be honest, it is true that money does change hands in Parliament. But now, I think what has happened, where the problem is that the decisions that have been, through coercion and bribery, that have been taken by members of Parliament in this current 13th Parliament have been very unpopular with the populace. And so very many of them are highly unpopular right now. And I'll tell you some that even these empowerment programs, some of them are being used to be able to take members to their constituents because they couldn't even get there because of the problem that this coercion and this bribery has caused on them. Because you make...
So the empowerment is for the MP?
Is to make them be able... Some of it is to make these members go back to their constituencies.
Yeah.
Because after the 2023 and 2024 finance bill, remember what happened in Moranga after the 2023 finance bill, when members even went and said, no, this is not what we passed. But we on the floor of the House told them, this thing is going to hurt your people, and they refused to listen. Okay. So some now, what I was saying is this, that after, what I'm reading in all this is that the president is aware that he has made a lot of his members of Parliament extremely unpopular. And that, some of them, their re-election chances are very low. Yeah. So what does he do? He throws them under the bus. This is something he's done in the past. In 2024, when the Gen Zs got to the streets, he threw them under the bus when he threw away the bill and pretended that he's listened to the people. Yet the voters, the voters in the floor who are members of Parliament were also listening, but they couldn't take the right decision. So he's throwing members under the bus by calling them corrupt, so that he can now start maybe winning those that are opposing them in their constituencies. That is what he's doing. That is definitely a game plan for the current president, so that he can have people that support him in the next election.
Sorry, I'll get to you, Dr. Masara. But Mheshimiwa, you said that signature was 100 to 200,000. Sure. To impeach, what was the range?
No, the vote, I think after you vote, there was some money also that was changing hands.
Because yesterday I was told about 10 million shillings for Senate.
Wow, that's no, I don't think National Assembly, they are that expensive.
The rates are lower.
The rates are lower. The rates are much lower.